So the Mercy nerfs finally came through, and yeah, we were all pretty much expecting them. They've been the same things that they've been for like an entire month in the PTR. Mercy's been probably the best support character in the entire game for almost a third of a year in live servers. Competitive esports, super great. In regular competitive, almost a must pick every single game. And overall, yeah, I think we can agree Mercy probably did need some nerfs. But today I want to answer the question, is she still playable after the nerfs? And the first thing I want to say is that if you're a player that really didn't like to play Mercy and you felt like you had to fill as this character, and you know, it's like if you don't have a Mercy in your team, you're going to lose. I don't think it's going to be that way anymore. I think you can honestly play a lot of other characters now. But at the same side, and the same time, I think Mercy still can be a character that you can play, and today I want to talk about that, even after these very big nerfs. But, you know, there is, of course, big changes to the meta that's going to come up really quick. Now, let's just talk first off about what was changed in the new nerfs. First off, when you're using a Guardian Angel in your ultimate as Mercy, it's a lot slower now, so you can't get around as easily. Secondly, her ult lasts 5 seconds shorter, from 20 seconds to 15 seconds, so it can't be used as much in a team fight and won't last nearly as long, so you're going to kind of have to know when to use it more. Now she only gets 1 Resurrect instead of 2, and ulting does not give you that extra Resurrect, so there's that. And of course, you can't instantly res people anymore, even in your ultimate. In your ultimate, you still have to go down, and I think it's a 1.75 or something like that second res when you're on somebody. So those are the changes, and obviously those are pretty dang big changes. It makes her gameplay a lot slower. It makes her a lot easier to kill. Personally, I would have just wished that they got rid of her self-healing. Just that, and started with small nerfs like that. But whatever, we have these nerfs now, and today I want to talk about what they're kind of going to be and how they're kind of going to play out. So again, I want to say, and I want to start off with, I think Mercy is still going to be playable, but of course not nearly as good. Losing one of the reses, that's just an obvious bad thing for this character, and taking a lot of time to resurrect your teammates, obviously it's going to be a lot more risky to go for this. So the one thing I'm going to say about Mercy that kind of fits into all of these nerfs and all these changes and everything about her kit is that I feel like you still can play her, but she's going to be a lot better on defense. Because on offense, you can't go in anymore and get those clutch reses, and you can't really make, you know, a 6v6 into an 8v6 with those instant reses that are just impossible to counter. That's not really going to happen anymore when you're on offense. The defense can target you, they can kill you. If they have a Widow or a Hanzo, you're going to be easy pickings even in your ultimate. And yeah, I think on offense, she's going to have some troubles unless you're, of course, just always playing around a corner and resing whoever dies just around the corner. Maybe that could work for you. But on defense, I feel like she's still going to be a very strong pick on a majority of maps, because you can just play around the corner, get the initial reses at the beginning of a team fight. If one of your teammates gets picked, you can res them up. All the main benefits that Mercy's had for quite a while on offense and defense still work pretty well on defense. And even when you're ulting, I feel like her ultimate works a lot better on defense because it applies a lot of consistent healing still. And in general, you're going to be quite a bit safer on defense, so you don't really need the extra speed quite as much. And, you know, while the second res is important to have on defense, oftentimes you won't really need it as much as, I guess, on offense to make those clutch pushes. You can just kind of play around with a single res and mainly use her main res as the big reason to pick her up, other than her ultimate, which used to be the really big reason to pick her up. So yeah, I still think she's going to be a decent pick on defense, but again, on offense, it might be kind of hard. Now on King of the Hill, I think it's going to really depend on the map. If it's a map where Mercy can generally just heal somebody in the backline like Ilios and maybe just have the Widowmaker get snipes, and if your Widowmaker eventually dies, you can just res them up again. I think that still might be a good strategy. And depending on the map, I feel like Mercy can be okay on King of the Hill, but I don't think, again, that she's going to be nearly as dominant. But I don't think that she's going to be really useless at all either. I think she still is going to have her place. Now, a character that might kind of replace Mercy on offense that I want to talk about is Ana, obviously. Ana has a lot of healing, similar to Mercy, has a lot of really good tactics to get kills, the anti-heal, the sleep nade, or not the sleep dart, and the grenade, and of course, Ana's ultimate. Everything like that, I think that she's going to be able to just pull out a lot of damage, a lot of powered plays, and push in that offense. Maybe Mora could also kind of work like that, but I still feel like Mercy's probably going to do a bit better on defense, because simply put, a res on defense, I think, is more powerful than a ulted somebody with Ana or as a sleep dart with Ana on defense. I just think the res is a very powerful thing on defense. So I don't think Ana's going to probably take over that, at least 100%, even if she does become a lot more played on defense. Now, as far as Mora goes, which I feel like is the other kind of main-ish healer, I don't feel like she's going to completely take hold of Mercy's spot because they're kind of really different. Mercy has consistent heals on one target, really nice ultimate to get out a lot of heals on everybody, while Mora is more of like a kind of offensive type of character, again, so she might be played in offense instead of Mercy. that gets out quick bursts of healing, but then eventually runs out. And I feel like she's good as a main healer with a dive comp, which Mercy was never that great with anyways, while Mercy's still going to be good as, you know, the other main healer. And I think Moira's oftentimes going to be played kind of as a side healer with Ana. So I think that's kind of how it's going to fit, and I don't feel like Moira is going to take the space of Mercy way too much. So as far as the res goes, again, I do want to say that it is still a powerful tool. And even though you only have one now, getting a res at the beginning of the game because your teammate got caught is just as strong as it's ever been, and just as strong as just always. And you kind of have to realize that, and realize that just because your ult isn't game winning anymore doesn't mean that the res can't be game winning. I think that Mercy doesn't have as much potential to carry a team fight and as much potential to carry her team, but I think that she still can undo mistakes that your teammates make, and I think that in itself is a very powerful tool that will keep her strong in at least medium to high elo. Maybe the top levels, we don't see her as much because she will be punished quite a bit more, but for everything else, I think the res still is going to be a game-winning tool by itself, even though the ultimate may not be that much anymore. Now, talking about the ultimate, I do want to say that I never felt like Mercy's ult was way too great other than both the reses, but I still think that it's pretty good. It's very hard to kill Mercy. She can heal from super far away, she can pocket people, she can get her whole team damage boosted to give them a ton of damage. And if you ult pretty early on in a fight, I mean, if you're damage boosting your entire team compared to an Ana just damage boosting one person, I think that you still can make a case that Mercy's ult is still a pretty good ultimate. And it's, again, hard to kill you. It's just pretty dang good, honestly. But I am going to say that, you know, not having the res will hurt it quite a bit. And what you're going to have to do with this ultimate now is just ult at the very start of a fight and just hope that your teammates can finish that fight before 15 seconds comes in. If it's a very long, extended fight, it's going to be kind of hard for you to play out with this ultimate, but most fights don't last more than 15 to 30 seconds, so just use it when you feel like people are getting kind of low, or when you want to combo with other people's ultimates, because I feel like it still does that. Just remember that this ult really isn't used to get a nice res off anymore, or to win a team fight like that. It's moreover just as a healing ult, kind of similar to Moira. I think, again, though, a little bit more defensive than offensive, and again, I think that this is going to be a nice defensive ult when you need to just kind of counter the enemy team's slow push. For Mercy, one thing I kind of want to say here as well is that I feel like she's still going to be a good character for consistency. And I think that she's still going to generally do half decent. Again, not nearly as well as she was doing for quite a while, but she just has consistent healing, consistent escapes, consistent mobility, consistent self-healing, and her ultimate is pretty hard to mess up. And of course, the res can still make your teammates be revived. And generally, I'm going to say, yeah, it's still going to be okay to play this character. And I want to say that if you want to keep playing Mercy competitive, you can keep doing that. But if you're somebody that never really liked playing her anyways, like me, you probably won't have to play her much anymore as far as this goes. And one thing I want to remember, or I guess kind of mention to you guys, is that Jeff did say if Mercy becomes too weak, he's going to buff her up a little bit, going to make her more playable. And I think that these nerfs might make her a little bit too weak, honestly. They might just do that. But we're going to kind of have to wait and see. And I'm going to tell you guys, don't overreact about the nerfs because they do look really bad on paper. But I feel like Mercy still does kind of have a spot to fit on the map. Nobody else really takes a good defensive main healer in the game right now. She's kind of the only one that can do that super great. And maybe what they could do is kind of buff her into becoming better at that one thing as well. And maybe makes it that she can hold up to 2 reses at a time. She just waits all 60 seconds. That could be a kind of cool thing. There's a lot of different things that I feel like they can still do with this character to buff and nerf her a little bit. And maybe making her into the defensive support and giving somebody else like Ana the more offensive support. That could be kind of a way to play out this if you want to do that. But again, it's just kind of whatever the game developers want to do at this point. But still, just give Mercy a chance. And don't think that just because there's pretty good buffs coming in, that she's going to become immediately useless. And I guess as far as one tricks go with Mercy, you still can one trick this character. But I feel like you're going to have to make sure that you're really doing great on defense. And that you're really just making sure that your teammates are playing at their best potential. And if you are playing on offense, I still don't think that she's horrible. I think that she's not nearly as good as she was. She can't make those power plays. But if you have a nice Ryan shield and somebody dies in the cart or somebody dies near the cart, or you have a Zarya that can put a shield on you, you can still res your teammates, get them back from the team fight, and go on from there. So you can still technically kind of play a 7v6. So that can still kind of win you the game as well. I think you will just need quite a bit more protection as this character. But if you can get that, she's still going to have the bonus of a res. You can't forget how powerful that ability is. But I guess as well, you have to remember that she is going to be a lot easier to kill. So take that as a positive or a negative when you're versus Mercy, or I guess when you're for playing Mercy. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say about Mercy today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any of your own opinions about Mercy, please leave that down in the comment section down below. Do you think she's any good still? Or do you think, hey, these nerfs were probably too far. This is what I do to fix her up? Because personally, I wouldn't really want to revert these nerfs. I feel like reverting nerfs just kind of accomplishes nothing. I'd rather make her kit kind of interesting in another way than just kind of giving her the boring stuff that she had back, because it honestly wasn't way too interesting, the stuff that she got removed. Anyways, as always, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoy. Of course, as always, this was my own opinion. Leave a like or a comment if you want to see stuff like this in the future, or hit that subscribe button. And as always, guys, though, thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful day.